When we last saw Kimberly and Ava, they just embarked on a journey into the various settings authors use when writing. Ava will soon learn that skillful authors must research facts and details about the time period and location so that their settings are accurate and stories believable, especially in works of historical fiction. You may want to refresh your knowledge and watch historical fiction, jumping into genre. Be sure to view Setting the Stage before proceeding, and then prepare yourself to be transported back into the time of the Sphinx, pyramid building, and King Tut. You're in the land of the Pharaohs in this episode of Thinking Aloud. Let's rejoin Ava and Kimberly as they explore the Writers' Workshop website.
Just select the one you're interested in.
Oh, I don't know. How about the land of the Pharaohs? Scorching winds blew across the desert land. It was Egypt's Old Kingdom era, 2400 BC. The Nile River spilled out of its banks. The flooding left behind dark, rich soil for farmers planting their crops.
You know, this is a good example of a setting that describes the place and time in which the story occurs. Did you catch that?
I did. I know that this story takes place in Egypt along the Nile River because of the location provided by the author.
I also know that it happened during the Old Kingdom era in the year 2400 BC, because the author provides the time period and date. I notice another clue that the author provides that helps me understand this passage was set in the past. I know that when verbs such as blew, was, spilled, and left are written in the past tense, they signal that the action has already occurred.
Wow, that's interesting. What's next?
I know that authors often describe the weather in order to make their settings more complete. From the words scorching winds blew and desert, I know that Egypt is hot, windy, and dry. When I read the Nile River spilled out of its banks, I'm thinking it must have rained hard recently for it to flood. I also remember from the Writers' Workshop that authors sometimes describe the geography of a place to help the readers understand the setting.
That makes sense.
In this story, I understand that the area near the Nile River was good for agriculture when I read dark, rich soil and farmers planting their crops.
You can really envision what it must have been like there.
Look at the next paragraph. But the crops weren't all that was growing. The mighty pyramids were under construction. Cities in the pyramid's shadows sprung up. Egyptian pyramid workers lived in homes provided by the pharaoh. Others worked as merchants, craftspeople, and bakers. As I continue on and read the second paragraph, I realize the author is providing me with the details of everyday life and the social conditions of the time. I learn about pyramids that were built and the cities where the workers lived. Merchants, craftspeople, and bakers must have been different kinds of workers within the cities.
I'm thinking the pharaoh must have been a rich person to be able to provide a home for every worker.
No kidding, it would have been cool to see the pyramids being built. The city is hummed with activity. Inside the finished pyramids, however, there was silence and secrets. The pyramids held royal tombs. There were also storage rooms, courtyards, and secret passageways. Traps waited for robbers planning to steal the treasures locked inside. The author is providing a contrast in mood.
How'd you know that?
Well, from the way he compares the sounds of the cities. When I read hummed with activity, with the silence and secrets inside the finished pyramids. Then when I read the pyramids held royal tombs, I realize the pyramids were used to bury dead kings and queens.
No wonder it was quiet. I wonder what they mean by secrets.
I'm thinking it had something to do with the treasures locked inside, since traps were set to catch the grave robbers.
Oh, that's creepy.
Makes you want your mummy. So what do you think? Do you want to set your play in ancient Egypt?
It would be a really interesting place to set a story.
Looks like Kimberly and Ava are shining the spotlight on settings. Skillful authors can take their readers through time and across the globe just by including important details about weather, geography, and everyday life. They use these details to provide a window into the social conditions of the time and establish the mood of the story. These authors know that the time and place of the story can influence the rest of the piece. Choosing a setting is an important step in the writing process. Get front row seats to the next showing of setting videos. See the sights of New York City by watching The Beat of the Street, or explore the deep end of the ocean in the deep, deep world to continue learning how authors describe settings in the present and future. It's time to strike the set, but keep thinking aloud.